Valley, California. He is up first on the left lane. Two titles in 4 years on the tour.
Hold on to your hats. This is high-octane stuff coming at you.
This is Rip It and Rip It week on the PBA Tour. You're going to see in the bottom portion of your screen not only the speed of the ball, but also what board they are starting out. We saw 22 miles per hour at board 9. We'll try to keep track of that because it's interesting the way the players have been moving the last couple of weeks. And here's Bryon-Smith, no relation to Robert. Leaves the 10. Bryan's had a little bit of problems on TV. He's 0-4, just averaged over 177 in his TV games. Highest finish this year, 3rd at Grand Rapids. We take a look at the specifics on Bryon.
Cross lane at the 10 goes to a ball that doesn't hook. Plastic ball, straight and hard.
No problem. Well, Randy, let's take a look and see what the conditions are for the lanes this week.
Well, Ron, the last couple of weeks, the lane conditions have been very oily because of the length of the application. Some 42 feet down the lane. Forced the players to play in. You saw Jason Couch playing 6th arrow. The righties were way in here. This week, completely different story. Short run, 35 feet. Forced the players to play the outside part of the lane.
Well, you can see just how far outside Bryon-Smith went as he picked up his first strike. And Robert Smith got in as the wild card. How about Bryon-Smith and Steve Hoskins? 30 games, 19 pins. Only 19 pins on a 30 games separated Steve Hoskins from being here instead of Robert Smith. That shows you how good it was this week.
Yeah, the competition was awesome. The scores were up this week. Players had no problems getting to the pocket.
Don't do that, Rob.
Well, he has a great attitude. You can see again 22 and 9 for Robert Smith, but he has a great attitude. Sometimes he gets into a mode, Randy, where he feels he has to help the ball when he really doesn't need to.
And he did it right here. You heard him what he said coming back from this shot. Don't top the ball. What that does is when his hand flips around the side with the rev rate that Robert Smith has, causes the ball to break very sharply down the lane.
Hand behind it.
Hear him say it again. Keep your hand behind it.
Keep it behind it.
That controls the direction of the change of direction down the lane. With as much hook as we have this week, the players tried to throw it, not only throw it hard, but they really had to keep their hand underneath and behind it.
Here you see who Jason's taking care of. Jason Hurd, Bob Learn, losing to Bryon-Smith last night late in a great match. There you go. Now he throws the ball about 34 miles per hour. Randy, most pros, what, about 18, 20 miles an hour?
Well, 34 miles per hour is the max speed for Robert Smith. I don't know anybody in the country that can throw a 16-pound ball that fast. But I would say the average speed for average players, league bowlers, is about 16, 17. Average speed on tour is about 19. This week, Robert Smith's 22 miles an hour.
Well, one of the things that Bryon-Smith telling us he's been working on is his mental game. You know, in the past, he panics when things like this happen, and it has bothered him. And he's worried about what people think. Am I going to pick up this spare? You can see who he's taking care of in the round of 32, 16 and down to 8. But he, too, has been working with a sports psychologist.
I think the only thing Bryon-Smith needs is to get one win under his belt. You're not going to do him missing spares.
Well, he did it last night, as a matter of fact, in one of his matches. Take a look and see how that happened at the pins.
Just caught too much of the 3-pin. Normally, you get the ball a little bit right of that 3-pin and drive the 6 into the 10.
And that puts him down by 12 pins here in the early going. We're through 3 frames. Bryon-Smith out of Roseburg, Oregon.
Bryan's got one of the best games, physical games on tour I've seen in a long time.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Makeup.
That'll help. Now, Robert Smith, one of the tendencies, I would think, Randy, when you're Robert Smith, you throw the ball so hard, is you have a tendency to throw through the break points. Not so much on wood lanes, but on synthetic lanes. Is that a problem he has to be aware of?
Well, he overthrows and overhits. When the lanes are dry, you've got to be careful with the hit.
Keep his hand behind it. It will come back.
And now it's time for Dexter's Footwork of the Pros. Let's hear from 2-time champion Robert Smith.
Time I made the championship round appearance in Taylor, Michigan, I used a number 4 sole with a number 2 heel. This week in Albany, with the wood approaches and being a little bit more slipperier than normal, I had to use a number 2 sole with a number 1 heel to create a little bit more balance and leverage to create the speed I needed to play this week.
Yo, little hold in there.
And that's the sole you're talking about. What Robert's talking about is like putting buckskin on the bottom of your shoe. You're not going to slide a whole lot with that sole.
That's our Dexter Footwork of the pros, Robert.